Not every dog bond is built on love alone. Sometimes what we assume is loyalty or habit can actually be emotional distance. Dogs communicate honestly through behavior, not words, and when affection is missing, their actions quietly reveal it. In this video, we'll explore the behaviors that can indicate your dog does not feel emotionally connected to you. These signs are subtle, often misunderstood, and easy to overlook. But once you recognize them, they change how you see the relationship entirely. This is not about blame. It's about awareness. Because understanding the truth is the first step toward rebuilding trust. 1. They avoid eye contact and turn their head away. When a dog consistently avoids eye contact with you, it can signal more than shyness. While brief eye avoidance is normal, repeated turning away of the head, refusal to look at you, or immediately breaking eye contact can indicate emotional distance or discomfort. Dogs naturally look toward the people they feel connected to. If your dog chooses to look elsewhere, at the floor, the wall, or anything but you, it may be their way of saying they don't feel safe enough to engage. This behavior often appears after negative experiences such as harsh discipline, unpredictable reactions, or lack of positive interaction. You may notice patterns like they look away when you speak to them. Their head turns slightly as soon as your eyes meet. They avoid your gaze even during calm moments. This isn't defiance. It's self-protection. A dog that avoids eye contact is creating emotional space, not seeking closeness. It suggests that trust has weakened and affection has been replaced with caution. 2. They show no interest in your return. A dog that feels emotionally connected usually reacts, even subtly, when their person comes back. When that reaction is missing, no movement, no glance, no change in posture, it can point to emotional detachment rather than calmness. This is not about dramatic greetings or excitement. It's about acknowledgement. A dog that loves you will at least notice your return. If your dog remains indifferent, continues what they were doing, or leaves the room when you arrive, it may indicate that your presence does not hold emotional value for them. You might observe behaviors such as no change in body language when you enter the house, no attempt to approach, follow, or acknowledge you, choosing to stay in another room even after you return. This kind of indifference often develops when a dog feels ignored, emotionally disconnected, or has learned that your presence does not bring safety, comfort, or positive interaction. Over time, they stop expecting anything meaningful. And emotional expectation is a core component of affection. A dog that does not register your return isn't being independent. They may simply no longer feel emotionally invested. 3. They keep their distance and avoid physical closeness. Dogs that feel loved and emotionally secure naturally seek proximity. When a dog consistently chooses distance instead, moving away when you sit down, standing up when you approach, or positioning themselves across the room, it can be a clear sign of emotional disconnection. This is not about independence or personality alone. Even naturally reserved dogs usually tolerate or accept closeness from someone they trust. When a dog avoids physical contact entirely, it often means they do not associate your presence with comfort or safety. You may notice patterns such as they shift away when you sit next to them. They leave the room when you lie down or relax. They choose isolated resting spots instead of shared spaces. They stiffen or freeze briefly when touched. Physical distance is a boundary. A dog that maintains it consistently is communicating discomfort or lack of emotional attachment. This behavior often develops when a dog has experienced inconsistent affection, forced interaction, or unpredictable human behavior. A dog that loves you doesn't need constant touching, but they don't need escape either. When closeness disappears, it's often because emotional trust has already faded. 4. They ignore your voice and commands without confusion. When a dog loves and respects their owner, they naturally respond to their voice, not out of fear, but because the voice itself carries meaning. If your dog consistently ignores you without appearing distracted, confused, or overstimulated, this can be a sign of emotional disengagement rather than disobedience. This behavior looks different from poor training. A disengaged dog doesn't hesitate or try and fail. They simply don't react. Your words don't trigger curiosity, attention, or concern. Over time, your voice becomes background noise instead of guidance. You may notice signs such as no head turn when you call their name, no response even in calm, quiet environments, reacting to other sounds or people, but not to you. showing awareness of commands but choosing not to engage. This lack of response often develops when communication has become one-sided, overly negative, or emotionally empty. Dogs stop listening when listening no longer feels rewarding or safe. A dog that loves you may sometimes disobey, but they don't disconnect. Silence in response to your voice is often a sign that emotional connection has weakened. 5. They show stress signals when you approach. When a dog associates someone with comfort, their body relaxes in that person's presence. When the opposite happens, tension instead of ease, it often points to emotional unease or lack of trust. A dog that becomes stressed when you approach is not responding out of mood or coincidence. Their body is communicating something important. Stress signals are subtle but consistent. They appear even when nothing bad is happening. You may notice behaviors such as yawning or lip licking when you come near, turning their body sideways or lowering their head, freezing briefly instead of approaching, moving away slowly rather than excitedly. These behaviors are not signs of defiance or stubbornness. They are calming signals dogs use to manage discomfort. When they appear specifically around you, it suggests your presence triggers uncertainty rather than reassurance. A dog that loves you feels calmer when you're close, not more alert or tense. Persistent stress responses are often a sign that emotional safety is missing. And without safety, affection cannot grow. A dog that doesn't feel emotionally connected rarely shows it through aggression or drama. Instead, the distance appears quietly, in avoidance, indifference, tension, and silence. These behaviors are not punishments or acts of rebellion. They are signals. Signals that something in the relationship is missing or broken. This doesn't mean the bond is beyond repair. Dogs are incredibly forgiving when given consistency, patience, and emotional safety. What they need most is not control, but understanding. Not louder commands, but calmer presence. Not forced affection, but respectful space. If you recognize some of these signs, don't feel guilt. Feel awareness, because awareness is where change begins. When a dog starts to feel safe, seen, and valued, affection often follows naturally. At Barkpedia, we believe every relationship with a dog can improve when humans learn to listen without judgment. Sometimes love isn't lost. It's just waiting to be rebuilt.